The great trading card migration has begun. Yes, yes, it has. And if you wonder what I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed over the past maybe like 2, 3 weeks, even longer if you really been paying attention to it. But things are changing. A lot is moving. I don't know why I'm shaking my head so much. I'm like Ray Charles today. But regardless, I found that it's kind of crazy that people are moving a lot from Pokemon and like sports cards, which are arguably the most traded and sold type cards, you know, period. And they're moving to new things like One Piece and Riftbound. It's a crazy world out there. And so let's talk about as to why, guys. Let's talk about as to why. All right, so for years, Pokemon and sports cards have pretty much dominated the space. Whenever you go to a collecticon or any type of function, where there's a ton of cards, right? Yeah, they'll have some of everything, but the most common you see are Pokemon and sports cards, because that's just how it is, right? And if you look at the markets, especially in the Pokemon world, for the longest, man, we were at like 10x what prices should be almost, right? Like from sealed products to singles, everything just extremely high. And now we're cooling it off finally. And let's try to figure out as to why, right? So, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but Pokemon's been having some great and bad things happening all at the same time, right? The sheer fact that everything costs so much money nowadays, it makes it really hard for the collector to collect and for the players to play, right? And that's hitting things on both fronts because if you're trying to collect things, it feels like you're jumping in and the water's already 10 feet deep, but you don't even know how to swim yet, right? And you may have a couple favorite Pokemon or whatever, but you might not be able to go ahead and start collecting them. And if you need to actually play the game, it's hard to get a hold of some cards, just because you can't find product, right? And so we're at a scenario where people are moving to things that are doing well in other ways, and that's starting to affect the market severely. If you look at some of the One Piece cards, they've jumped in price. They've jumped in price because so many people have immediately went over to it. They figure One Piece is a huge IP, and Pokemon is also a huge IP, so it's got to start doing well. Then you start looking at the cards, and you're like, "Yo, Bandai actually is eating most of the time when it comes to this art. Like Bandai, y'all really killing that shit." But uh, but because people can't get a hold of the Pokemon stuff, they said might as well go try out the One Piece and move on over there. And I don't know if you guys have like tested the waters with other things, but we also have Riftbound coming into the space, right? But we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But when you in the realm of One Piece, it's a very competitive game. It's at like it seems like almost every single card shop. I'm in Cali, so they're literally at every single card shop over here, and it's just doing very well for itself. It seems like it's definitely going to be here to stay. Um, and competitively, we have newcomers to the what's my brain's not talking at all right now. What the anyways, we have newcomers coming such as Riftbound, and Riftbound literally, I don't know if you've played it yet, but it's very simple to get into, like to learn the game. But it's incredibly like deep, which allows for like the ability for people to outplay people and stuff like that, and skill expression, which is something people really look for in a competitive game, right? Mind you, the art is crazy. League of Legends is a huge IP. It's doing crazy stuff, man. The first regional just happened. The competitive circuit is going to be chef's kiss, right? So when you have all these great things coming around, of course things are gonna move. But I don't think you guys should really be scared. All you Pokemon fans, don't be scared. Don't be scared. I mean, I know there's a FOMO a little bit. People fear missing out on the other card games and people jumping ship. And I've seen people sell their entire trading card or their entire sports cards collections just to go towards One Piece. You know, I saw people sell a whole bunch of things going towards Riftbound, and I don't think that's the right play. I understand the great trading card migration is here, but I don't really think it's going to be for too long, right? And I think that because Pokemon is still Pokemon, right? They may have messed up with Z to A. They need to fix their production run. It's just not enough. Trading cards as a whole is booming, so they have to be able to print more. They have to get more into people's hands. Uh, there's a lot of things that need to happen, but it's gonna be short lived. Pokemon is still Pokemon, right? They're gonna come out with like another 50 Pokemon in the next Pokemon game. Everything's gonna go crazy. It's gonna blow up. The whole world's gonna change. It's gonna be all that good stuff. But also, there's something to take note of in terms of IP based things, right? Pokemon is a huge IP that is able to, what's the phrase? Is able to churn their own butter, right? Because they can constantly keep creating new Pokemon, and you may not like, 3/4 of them, but you'll like maybe a good quarter of them, and really like two, three of them. Like they just came out with some of my new favorite Pokemon. We got Ceruledge, Charcadet, and Armarouge. Love all three, right? But there's a lot to think about in those scenarios because One Piece, I mean not One Piece, Pokemon can keep doing that, keep coming out with new stuff. Whereas One Piece, what he say? He thinks the manga's gonna end in about like 5 years, which is it's a good amount of time for people to invest and get started with the card game and everything. But once One Piece is over, unless you do a spin-off, which people aren't gonna care for too much because you have to follow Luffy, right? Like that's the whole point of One Piece. Let's follow Luffy's trajectory. Um, so to me, I don't think it's gonna last maybe more than 5 years after that, right? Because you can't keep just reprinting the same cards. I mean, you think about all the same waifus, and I got some right here. I got some right here. What I put them? Or you look at some of the waifus that they have, man. Like they haven't really changed. Like how long has Vivi been a waifu? Rebecca, right? Boa Hancock, my favorite in One Piece. Miss All Sunday, aka Robin. How long? You know what I mean? I mean, granted, Dragonite's still a thing. They're still printing Dragonite. Charizard's still a thing. They're still printing Charizard. You're right. You're 100% right. But, you can only keep printing the same thing so many times before people start needing to take interest elsewhere also, right? It's great to have those, keep having the legacy behind them, but you still have to add a little bit. You gotta sprinkle a little bit more. People like other stuff. I'm a weirdo. I like Scyther and Raichu. Like, everybody's different. I know somebody who just loves Wailord. I don't know why, but he just loves Wailord, right? So it is what it is in terms of IP. But uh, Pokemon can keep making new stuff. Pokemon can keep making new Pokemon. I don't think One Piece can continue doing its own thing. Riot, from the creators of League of Legends, have been creating their own characters since the jump. The world they built can constantly allow them to continue building more and more and more and more and more and more. It's never going to end. So if that card game stays true to playing well, having great art, doing things with their foiling and the texturing and all that beautiful stuff. I mean, look at this, dude. Look at this. Somebody look at this. That's Leona. Beautiful. So you look at those things and you wonder, like, oh, that's probably why everybody's moving. Now, me personally, I think Riftbound's gonna be here to stay. I personally, here, I'm gonna say it like that right now. I'm gonna say this like this right now, right now. I think Riftbound will be the first card game to crack the top three. So it's a Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. I think Riftbound can overtake Yu-Gi-Oh. It'll take time, but I think it'll overtake Yu-Gi-Oh. But I for sure think it's gonna overtake One Piece. Right? They got to get some more printing going. They're kind of running into the Pokemon issue where they just ran out of product. And they're like, "We trying to print more. We just didn't think we were gonna be this popular." But they're also on set one. Give us some time, y'all. Give us some time. But Yeah, so the great migration is here. I don't think it's gonna last long. Pokemon prices are tanking. And I forgot what business mogul it was that said, um, when people are fearful is when you should be buying. So when everybody's panic selling and getting rid of all their stuff as low as they possibly can, you should be buying. This is a time to gather. I still think generally we're in a bull market. I still think so. You just also have to remember, we were like way up here. Like where a bull market kind of looks, Pokemon was like way, way up there, right? And it's just dropping down to something reasonable now. Everything's still above MSRP, guys. Like you're just not making buku dollars off of it, which hopefully will deter the scalpers. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. But regardless, that's pretty much all I had to say on that, y'all. This is Deontay from Double Chomp. You call it methodical if that's how you want to call it. It is what it is. Double Chomp Collectibles, boy.